someone check on Adam Silver because Caitlin Clark just big-timed the NBA. She said, nah, I'm good on the three-point contest. You know how we were all speculating that it was going to be Steph Curry and Klay Thompson versus Sabrina and Caitlin Clark? Well, Shams just reported that Caitlin Clark will not participate in the NBA All-Star Special three-point shootout in San Francisco and wants her first three-point contest to be at WNBA All-Star in Indianapolis this summer.
Caitlin Clark turns down NBA spotlight and sparks a movement. In a bold and defining moment, Caitlin Clark said no to the NBA, and in doing so, said yes to something much bigger. The rising
I don't know why she would want to do it anyway. I don't get it. If she did it, I would tune in and watch it. I'm not going to lie about that. And I said, I do believe the NBA, frankly, at this point, needs her more than the NBA. She needs the NBA.
Piece of women's basketball declined an invitation to compete in the NBA's All-Star Weekend three-point contest, where she would have shared the stage with NBA legends like Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. It was a high-profile crossover event that many in the media believed would be historic, a spectacle of the best shooters in the game, male and female, battling it out on national television. But Clark had something else in mind. She chose instead to make her three-point contest debut on her own terms, at the WNBA All-Star Weekend in
She wants her first three-point contest to be at a WNBA All-Star game in Indianapolis
this summer. For Caitlin Clark, this wasn't just about competing. It was about elevating the league that helped launch her professional career. She wasn't interested in being a novelty act at a men's event. She wanted her first moment to be for the WNBA, and the fans who've supported her every step of the way. This wasn't just a scheduling decision.
Threes, like she obviously has the ability, we've seen her make 50 out of 54 shots, but he expressed that concern as well. It's very different shooting off of a rack, and that is something that does take a bit of practice. And from what we have seen in her workouts and all these different types of things, Caitlin is, I don't know her personally, but she seems like the type of person, if she's going to do this contest, she wants to win it. She seems psychotic. She seems to have that Kobe mentality. When I say psychotic in basketball, you guys, I mean that as a good thing. I think any great athlete is a little bit crazy. I think Caitlin is too, but in the best way. She has.
It was a message. Clark knows the power of her influence. In her rookie year, she's drawn record-breaking crowds, sold out arenas, and injected new life into a league long overlooked by mainstream sports media. Indiana Fever ticket sales skyrocketed, season ticket inventory sold out completely, and home game attendance increased over 260%. Over 230,000 fans have watched her on the road. Whether she's playing in Indianapolis or any other city, the Caitlin Clark effect is undeniable. So when she chose to center her talents on the WNBA's platform instead of the NBA's, it was more.
Clark has made her decision. She will not be competing in this year's NBA three-point contest. Instead, she wants to keep it in where she's at, headquartered Indiana Fever. She wants to stay in Indianapolis, for the upcoming WNBA All-Star game, and that is where she will be competing in a three-point contest.
More than personal, it was strategic. It was historic. And it might be just what women's basketball needed. For decades, WNBA players have fought for visibility, equity, and respect. They've been told they need the NBA to draw fans or to validate their legitimacy. Clark's decision challenges that thinking. She's proving that the WNBA can be a standalone force, and that its stars don't need to borrow someone else's spotlight. The NBA may have seen this as a ratings win. But Caitlin saw a different kind of opportunity, to bring attention, respect, and excitement.
A lot of hype in this Battle of the Sexes three-point contest in the NBA All-Star Game, in which people were anticipating Sabrina Ionescu and Caitlin Clark versus like a Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Splash Brothers type thing. And it has been reported from Sports Business Journal that Caitlin Clark has declined to be a part of that contest.
To her league. Even Steph Curry, arguably the greatest shooter the game has ever seen, has acknowledged Clark's shooting range and competitive fire. And make no mistake, Caitlin isn't afraid of the challenge. She's known for her deep threes, high basketball IQ, and fierce competitive streak. She has the Mamba mentality, the kind of intensity that greats like Kobe Bryant once embodied. But with that fire comes clarity. She doesn't just play to win. She plays to build something bigger. And in this case, she's building momentum not for herself, but for women's sports as a whole. Historically, the WNBA's three-point contest hasn't received the kind of national attention or media coverage the NBA's version commands. That changes now. With Clark committing to participate in the WNBA's contest in her home arena, millions will be tuning in.
The range and the level of difficulty on her shots is obviously a very close comparison to the way that I play.
I was going to say, Caitlin Clark's been compared to you.
Yeah, but I think it almost robs her of like the rest of her game because she's such a good floor, she has her overall, floor game. She's racking up, close to triple doubles every night. And, her shooting ability is, it's her superpower, but the rest of her game is as polished as that. And so
sponsors will take notice. Broadcasters will push harder. And for once, the center of gravity in professional basketball will shift toward the women's game, because that's where the main event will be. This is more than Caitlin Clark declining an invite. This is her reshaping the narrative. She's showing the world that the WNBA doesn't need to be the undercard to the NBA. That women's basketball isn't something you watch in the off-season. It's a league with its own stars, its own legacy, and its own future, one that she's helping define every day. Caitlin's decision is a powerful reminder that sometimes, the smartest move isn't to chase the brightest spotlight, but to create your own. And that's exactly what she's doing. Caitlin Clark just turned down the NBA, and changed the WNBA forever. In a bold move that sent shockwaves through both men's and women's basketball, Caitlin Clark has officially declined an invitation to the NBA's three-point contest, an event that would have...
I know the Caitlin Clark effect is real, but these numbers make it even more incredible. The Indiana Fever just released their midseason growth numbers. They sold out 100% of the season ticket inventory. Total attendance is up 264% from last year. Total attendance, which the season isn't over yet, has increased by over 200% on our way to 300. 186,000 fans have attended Fever home games, and 230,000 have attended the road games. No matter where Caitlin Clark is playing, she's going to draw a crowd.
Paired her with none other than Steph Curry. Instead, she chose to save her competitive debut for the WNBA's All-Star Weekend. And that decision speaks volumes. While some may call it risky to walk away from the global spotlight the NBA offers, Clark sees the bigger picture. She's not just playing basketball, she's building a legacy. She's choosing loyalty to her league, her fans, and the future of women's sports over personal brand elevation. This isn't just strategy. It's leadership. By anchoring herself to the WNBA's growth, Clark is elevating more than just her name. She's bringing attention, sponsors, and respect to a league long overshadowed. The numbers speak for themselves. In just her rookie year, fan voting for the WNBA All-Star Game skyrocketed by 700%. The previous All-Star vote leader had
$1,000 for a family of four to go to a WNBA game. That seems wild. It really does. The Clark effect.
95,000 votes. Clark? Over 700,000. That's not hype. That's movement. Her impact is undeniable, and it's not just about stats. Clark endured one of the most physically punishing rookie seasons the league has seen in years. She was knocked down, targeted, and often ignored by officials. The WNBA remained mostly silent, offering little in the way of protection for the league's biggest new star. And yet, despite all of it, Clark didn't walk away. She doubled down. Instead of chasing the spotlight in the NBA, where she could have easily cemented her international appeal, she chose to invest in the WNBA. Her decision sends a clear message to fans, sponsors, and league officials alike: women's basketball is not a second act.
As great as Steph is, we've seen Steph do that. They would be the novelty of Clark doing it alongside them. So she's the draw. But the more I read the article, also the more it sounds like a negotiation. And, getting Curry to participate in the WNBA All-Star Game, if that is indeed an idea that's been floated, that would help boost Indianapolis. And so part of me thinks, all right, this is the back and forth, and negotiation is still going to happen. And this is just creating
It's the main stage. If NBA stars like Curry want to face her in a shootout, they'll have to come to Indianapolis. This summer, the spotlight will shine right where Clark wants it, on her league, her court, and her terms. Her decision benefits everyone. When she shows up, fans follow. TV ratings spike. Ticket sales rise. Sponsors listen. And more importantly, her fellow athletes reap the rewards, through more endorsement deals, higher salaries, and long overdue media attention. She's not just uplifting the WNBA, she's forcing it to evolve. But there's a warning here too. If the WNBA wants Clark to continue being the face of its future, it must protect her better. The days of allowing stars to be mistreated without consequence must end. Clark's loyalty deserves loyalty in return. At just 22, she's already shown more leadership than many athletes twice.
Caitlin Clark has changed the WNBA herself. No one else. The WNBA All-Star leader in votes in 2023 got 95,000 total votes. Clark got over 700,000 to lead all fan voters this year. And the turnout for voting for the WNBA All-Star Game was 700% higher this year than last year. That's the Caitlin Clark effect.
Her age. She's not in it for vanity or headlines. She's playing for something much bigger, the next generation of girls who want to grow up believing their dreams belong courtside, not on the sidelines. By saying no to the NBA, Caitlin Clark said yes to women's basketball. And that changes everything. Caitlin Clark's arrival is reshaping the WNBA, and the numbers prove it. Caitlin Clark didn't just enter the WNBA, she transformed it. Teams that once struggled to fill half their seats are now selling out arenas months in advance. If you're lucky enough to snag a ticket when Indiana comes to town, expect to pay a premium. In fact, courtside seats for a Fever Road game are now more expensive than any other matchup on the calendar. Some are going for more than double the price. And
Months in advance, she confirmed she'll be in that WNBA three-point shootout. If an NBA player wants to go up against her, then they're going to have to go to Indy. One scenario would have an NBA player such as Curry conceivably reciprocating and doing a similar shootout at the WNBA All-Star Game next summer. As much as I love the NBA All-Star has been suffering these past few years, and Caitlin Clark is one of the biggest draws in basketball. Where she goes, fans follow. The NBA, Adam Silver, they all knew what they were doing inviting her. This was such a boss move that she turned it down. Some people are speculating that, she's not comfortable shooting off of a rack. Yes, I'm sure someone like Caitlin would like adequate practice time before she goes into any shootout. But the reason she declined is because she wants to bring more eyeballs to the WNBA. All-Star is in her backyard this summer. She wants the eyeballs there. She once again continues to uplift women.
it's not just Indiana that's cashing in. Franchises that have historically seen empty bleachers are suddenly turning profits, thanks to the demand to see Caitlin Clark. Whether fans are rooting for her dominance or hoping to catch an off night, the truth is clear: when Clark plays, people show up. This isn't a fluke. This is long-term impact. Right now, the WNBA's official website features a single face front and center, Caitlin Clark's. Not multiple players. Not a team collage. Just her. That tells you everything you need to know about how central she's become to the league's identity. For the first time in years, maybe ever, the WNBA has a player who doesn't just play well but moves the needle. Yet despite all the attention, Clark has stayed focused. She hasn't chased every endorsement or media opportunity outside the game. She's made it clear, her priority is her team, the Indiana Fever, and the league she's helping to elevate. She also understands something deeper: her connection with the fans. These are people who've invested their time, money, and belief in the WNBA. By committing herself to the league, Clark is
Amount of people I've heard call her a diva. Say, like, everything. Call her every name under the sun, being like, if Steph Curry's willing to do this, Caitlin Clark's a diva for not doing.
giving them something rare, a reason to care, a reason to come back, and a reason to believe in women's basketball as a serious, long-term sport. But with her success comes responsibility, not just for Clark, but for the league itself. Last season, Clark faced a level of physical targeting that bordered on reckless. Hard fouls, dirty plays, and inconsistent officiating plagued nearly every game. And while the league remained silent, fans were watching. The message was clear: if the WNBA wants to keep its biggest star healthy and committed, it needs to act. Protecting star players, improving officiating, and acknowledging Clark's role in the league's explosive growth shouldn't be optional, it should be a priority. Because Clark isn't just a women's basketball star, she's a superstar, period. The numbers back it up. One of her games pulled in 3.5 million viewers, more than an NBA matchup between the Golden State Warriors and the Boston Celtics. That's not just impressive. That's history-making.
I feel like it's like everybody's always watching your every move, no matter what you're doing. And I feel like the best thing that I've tried to live by is like to just be the same person that I am off the court, whether I'm, leaving my apartment every single day or whether I'm here sitting in front of all of you. I've tried to approach it in the same exact manner that I can.
As the new WNBA season looms, all eyes will be on Caitlin Clark once again. But this time, the question isn't whether she'll perform. It's whether the league will rise to meet the moment she's created. Because one thing is certain, Caitlin Clark isn't just part of the WNBA anymore. She is the WNBA.
Caitlin Clark announced that she wasn't going into the NBA three-point contest.
Official homepage of the WNBA right now, when they announce this schedule, is a photo of Caitlin Clark, and that's it. it's only Caitlin. It's not any other players. It's not any other teams. The fact that they are seemingly leaning into her finally at the very off the rip, leaning into her, like having her front and center. This is just something that I don't think that we would have seen last season. And I just think it's